Starting in July, Kentucky Humanities and the Kentucky Book Festival will host a free writing workshop, several workshops for veterans. The program is led by retired Colonel and author Fred Johnson, who says writing helped him work through some painful times he experienced in active duty. He says the power of storytelling is something that all veterans can benefit from, and he wants to share it with them. Joining us now for the breakdown is the man himself, retired Colonel Fred Johnson, to tell us more. Welcome. Thank you for being with us.
It's great to be here. Thank you very much.
How did you get involved in writing?
I started writing whenever I was in high school. I had a great English teacher like we all did, and then I went into college, and then it stopped a little bit once I started in the military. And then when I was in Iraq, I had an incident with one of my soldiers who was killed, and just to get over the grief, I sat down a day after he was killed and started writing a story about him, and it ended up being the first chapter of my book, 5 Wars: A Soldier's Journey to Peace.
How did that help you to be able to do that?
Well, I was carrying a lot of grief at the time. I felt part of the reason for his death was a decision that I made and put him in a dangerous situation. And it was very difficult to bear. And the best way for me to put that grief was on paper, while I was still in war. And then when I got back 10 years later, I had continued to write these stories and ended up having a couple hundred pages. And then I just decided I'm going to try to write a book, and I did.
So it was an outlet for you?
It was absolutely. It was a catharsis, and both in writing and the art of it, and just relieving some of the burden, just through the words and putting the words on paper was really, really important to my transition back, in my well-being.
Talk about the workshops. I assume that military members, veterans, retired or otherwise, are all invited.
Yes.
What are you going to do? How are you going to try to help them with this?
Well, I was very fortunate. Bill Goodman, who is the executive director of Kentucky Humanities, we worked together at KET, and I was at the book festival a couple of years ago. Kentucky Humanities is a treasure in our Commonwealth. Their motto was telling Kentucky's story. And he said, "Hey, Fred, could you run a workshop with veterans for writing, talk about your experience?" And I jumped at it because I believe, everyone has a story to tell, but especially veterans. And, we need to get our veterans here in Kentucky to tell their story. And so what we're going to do is on the July 2nd at 1 o'clock at the Beaumont extension of the library here in Lexington, we're going to gather together. I'm going to walk them through, how to brainstorm a story, how to come up, how to develop the plot, and how to work through it with the ultimate goal after 3 sessions for them to publish a story, their own story.
Here's the information about it. Is this free?
It is free to all veterans and their family members. I think it's just as important for the family members to tell their story, because I think, the children particularly are the real victims of war. They didn't choose to be in the military. Their parents or their mother or father did. And I think they need to be able to tell their story too. And I think it's a very important part of what we're doing.
Do folks need to register?
They can register through, there's a website on Kentucky Humanities, so it's available there. And again, it's free. And right now we're looking at up to 20 people we think we're gonna have right now, but we'll accommodate as many. And the thing about this is it doesn't end when we have the session. I will continue being their battle buddy throughout the writing adventure, and I will be there as long and as it takes for them to get their words out. And it's either for themselves or their friends or the world to tell their story. And I think everybody's got that story to tell.
Congratulations already on just getting this idea started, and good luck on July 2nd. Hope people will take advantage of it.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Sam.
All right, thanks, Fred. And if you have a program that you think that we should talk about, that you think the community would like to hear about, just join the conversation by leaving your comments on WKYT.com or on our Facebook page. Let us know what you're up to.